I was sitting at our favorite coffee shop when Daniel slid into the seat across from me. "You look like hell, man. Rough night?" he asked, raising an eyebrow. "Yeah, rough," I muttered, staring at my half-empty cup. "Emma and we had a fight." Daniel leaned back, crossing his arms. "Another one? You've been tiptoeing around her for months? What happened this time?" I found something," I said, my voice tight. On her phone, Daniel's expression hardened. "Something bad? Worse?" I whispered. "Texts, pictures. Her and Lucas." Daniel almost choked on his coffee. "Wait, what?" I showed him the screen. His eyes went wide. "Damn. She. How?" "I don't know," I said, running a hand through my hair. "I thought I knew her. I thought we were happy. 5 years. Daniel, 5 years." My voice cracked. "You deserve better," he said, but I could hear the hesitation. "Do you want revenge?" "No," I snapped, then immediately regretted it. "Not yet. I don't even know what I want. My stomach twisted. I just feel like someone tore me apart from the inside." Sarah walked by our table waving. "Hey, mind if I join?" "Sure," I said, forcing a smile. But inside, my chest felt like it was collapsing. She sat down, tucking her hair behind her ear. "Rough morning?" she asked softly. Her voice always had this gentle pull, like she knew more than she let on. I shook my head. "Yeah." "Emma?" Her eyes softened. "I'm sorry, you're a good guy." "She doesn't deserve." "Don't," I cut in, barely holding back anger. "Just don't." Daniel sighed, pinching the bridge of his nose. "Look, man, you can't change what she did, but you can change what you do next. Don't let her break you." "I can't even think straight," I admitted. "I keep replaying it. Her smile, laughing with Lucas. It's like a knife." "You need to see her," Daniel said firmly. "Face her. Don't let it fester." "Oh," shook my head. "Not yet. Not until I'm sure I won't explode." That night, I watched her from the street outside her apartment. Emma's laughter floated down to me. She was leaning close to Lucas, hands brushing, whispering something that made him grin. "I felt like I'd been punched in the gut, Emma," I whispered, my voice raw. "How could you?" A week later, I confronted her in our apartment. "We need to talk," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. She looked up from her phone, smiling like nothing was wrong. "Sure, babe, what's up?" I couldn't hold it in. The texts, the pictures. "You and Lucas? Was any of it real? Were the past 5 years a lie?" Her smile faltered, and for a moment I thought I saw guilt. Then she shrugged. "Guess we just wanted different things. I've always said I wanted more excitement." "Lucas. He's fun." I laughed bitterly. "Fun? That's what you call betrayal?" "I'm sorry," she said, finally meeting my eyes. "But I never loved you the way you loved me." The words hit harder than I could have imagined. Her hands shook. You're serious?" "Yes," she whispered. "I didn't want to hurt you, but I can't fake it anymore." I felt my world crumble. The apartment spun around me. 5 years. Wasted. Everything. Gone. Emma stepped closer. "I still care about you. I hope you understand someday." I stared at her, feeling a cold rage mixed with sorrow. Understand? I don't think I ever will. Daniel's words echoed in my head. You can't change what she did, but you can change what you do next. I left her apartment that night, feeling hollow. The life I thought I had, the love, the future, the trust, it was all gone. Every memory, every laugh we shared, tainted now by her betrayal. I walked aimlessly. Through the city streets, hands shoved in my pockets, mind spinning. I couldn't cry, couldn't scream. I could only feel the emptiness, the betrayal, the rage simmering beneath my skin. And as I stared at the glowing city lights, a thought kept looping in my mind. I'm not done. Not yet. I didn't recognize myself at first. I looked in the mirror and saw the same tired eyes, the same tense jaw, but something inside me had shifted. I ran a hand through my hair and muttered, I can't keep doing this. I won't. Daniel, sitting on my couch with a coffee in hand, gave me a long look. You're serious about this, aren't you? I am, I said, voice firmer than I expected. No more excuses. No more pity. No more falling apart over her. Good, he said, leaning forward. This is going to take focus, and I know you have it in you. You just need a plan. I have a plan, I replied. Step 1, cut out everything and everyone that drags me down. Step 2, rebuild myself. Step 3, I trailed off, biting my lip. Step 3, Daniel raised an eyebrow. Step 3, I said, eyes narrowing, is making sure she doesn't get the satisfaction of seeing me broken. Daniel smirked. Sounds like a start. You'll need someone to keep you accountable. I have you, I said, nodding. And someone else. Someone smarter than me. Someone who will challenge me. Already scouting. He teased. I muttered, her name's Evelyn. Daniel whistled softly. She's intense. Careful, man. I remembered the first time I met her at a networking event. She had a notebook in one hand, a pen tucked behind her ear, and eyes that seemed to see right through me. You have potential, she said, scanning my portfolio, but you waste it. You let distractions define you. You're reactive, not strategic. I laughed nervously. Is that an insult or a compliment? Neither. It's the truth, she said, leaning on the table. You want control? You have to earn it. You can't just wait for it to fall into your lap. I want control, I admitted, swallowing hard. But after, everything. I feel like I've lost it. Evelyn smiled faintly. Good. Losing is the first step to learning. Pain is fuel if you know how to use it. Her words stuck with me. I replayed them during long nights, pacing my apartment, drinking black coffee, and scribbling ideas into a notebook. Pain is fuel, I whispered. Fuel for what? Fuel for change, I said aloud. Fuel for power. Daniel came by almost every day, checking in, pushing me. You've stopped calling Emma? He asked one evening. No, I said, setting my phone face down. And I won't. I don't need her validation anymore. I need me. I need progress. He nodded. Good. Then let's start. First, you need discipline. Routine. Work harder than anyone around you. I stared at him. I've already started. New projects, new clients. I'm learning, adapting. Every day, something better. You're changing, Daniel said, a hint of pride in his voice. I see it. I chuckled bitterly. I hope so. It feels alien, but good. Powerful. Then came Evelyn again. She became more of a mentor than I realized. Stop thinking small, she said one afternoon. Stop reacting emotionally. Look at Emma. Look at Lucas. They're careless. They think everything is easy. They leave holes in you. You can fill them. I frowned. You mean like revenge? Evelyn's eyes gleamed. I mean strategy. Don't let anger blind you. Use it as a lens. Analyze. Observe. Wait for the right moment. Right moment, I muttered. My mind raced, imagining Emma's life, the smile she flaunts, the world she believes she's conquering. Vulnerabilities hiding under her perfect facade. I can see it, I said softly. I can see how fragile it is. Daniel noticed my expression. You're thinking about her? I nodded. Of course I am. Not out of longing. But opportunity? She made me feel powerless. Now, I won't be. You sound different, he said. Focused. Scary focused. Good, I replied. I want to be scary. Not to her physically, but to her life. She should feel. I stopped, realizing I sounded harsher than I intended. She should regret what she did. Balance it, Daniel warned. Get lost. Remember, the point isn't to become her. I know, I said, breathing deeply. I won't. I'm better than that. I'm smarter, patient. I can wait. Evelyn appeared in my thoughts again. Patience is power, she had said. Watch, observe, and strike only when it matters. Precision beats chaos every time. I smiled faintly. Precision, patience, power. I can do this. Weeks passed, and I felt the change physically. I walked taller, spoke with more confidence, and found myself noticing things others overlooked. Small victories at work became personal affirmations. I began journaling, not about Emma, but about me. Every day I wrote, I am stronger. I am smarter. I am in control. Then came the first glimpse of Emma's public life, thriving, smiling in photos, unaware of the storm building in the shadows. A pang of anger mixed with clarity. She thinks she's safe, I whispered to myself. Not since he doesn't know what's coming, not yet. Daniel came over that evening. You're watching her? He asked, noticing my intensity. I'm not just watching, I said. I'm learning her patterns, her arrogance, her weaknesses. Every detail matters. He nodded slowly. Just promise me you won't lose yourself in this. I won't, I said firmly. I've found myself. I've been reborn. And now my lips curved into a small, controlled smile. I am ready. Ready to rise. Ready to reclaim. Ready to turn pain into power. And as I stared at her smiling face on the magazine cover, completely unaware, I knew it was only a matter of time before everything she thought was untouchable would start to crumble. The first seeds of revenge had been planted. Daniel and I sat in my apartment, maps and notes spread across the coffee table. Are you sure about this? He asked, frowning. I mean, it's one thing to rebuild, another to start messing with her life. I leaned forward, voice low, and controlled. It's not about messing with her life, Daniel. It's about balance. She broke mine. I'm just leveling the field. Daniel exhaled sharply. Just be careful. Don't let anger blind you. You're walking a fine line. I know, I said, tapping a pen against the table. I've thought about every move, every consequence. And I've got Evelyn guiding me. I'm not doing this recklessly. He gave me a skeptical look. Evelyn. She's been helping me analyze, plan, anticipate, I explained. She told me strategy beats chaos, precision, patience. That's how you win. And you're ready for this? He asked quietly. I smiled, almost to myself. I'm ready. Watch this. The next day, I met a few of Emma's co-workers at a conference. I introduced myself casually, smiled, charmed them. Hi, I'm well. Let's just say I know Emma professionally, I said lightly. I just wanted to connect, share ideas. One of them, Karen, leaned in. Oh, you know Emma? She's a powerhouse. I nodded. Yes, but even power has cracks. I've noticed a few. Inconsistencies in reports she's submitted. Small things, but noticeable if you pay attention. Karen blinked. Really? Absolutely, I said, voice casual. Nothing major, just patterns that repeat. I thought you might want to double check. Before deadlines come around, I left the room with a smile. Inside I was buzzing. A small disruption, but effective. Planting seeds quietly, making people second guess without a trace pointing to me. Later, I met Evelyn at a cafe. You're doing well, she said, stirring her coffee. Subtle, invisible influence. But remember, every action has a reaction. You have to maintain control of your own mind first. Don't let revenge become obsession. I'm careful, I said. I watch, I wait, I manipulate only where necessary. Lucas, I hesitated, thinking about him, starting to crumble. One wrong call, one slip, and I'll be ready to capitalize. Evelyn's eyes sparkled. Perfect. He's weak because he doesn't see the pattern. It's your advantage. I nodded, a chill of anticipation running down my spine. Emma. She's completely unaware. She's arrogant, thinks nothing touches her. But cracks are appearing. Subtle, but they're there. Daniel called that evening. How's it going? Any slip-ups? Nothing obvious, I said, but I see it. Their arrogance, their carelessness. Lucas already lost a client because of a small email I manipulated through Karen. Emma noticed, but she doesn't know why. Good, Daniel said. Just remember to keep your head clear. You're walking a dangerous path. I know, I muttered, staring out the window. but I've never felt so in control. The next few weeks I moved strategically. At networking events, I smiled and whispered small truths to Emma's circle. Planted doubts were needed. Lucas started making mistakes, overprimizing, mismanaging, losing confidence. Emma noticed, growing tense. One night, Daniel and I reviewed her social media updates. "See that?" I said, pointing at a post. Emma's forced smile, her caption, "Awkward, she's panicking internally. She doesn't know why." Daniel frowned. "It's working, but don't let it make you, I don't know, cruel." "I'm not cruel," I said. "I'm reclaiming control." She underestimated me, and Lucas underestimated me. That's their mistake, not mine. Then came the subtle encounter. Zima at a fundraiser. I passed by and smiled politely. Her eyes widened, a flicker of recognition, but she didn't know how to place it. The rush of power was intoxicating. Evelyn's voice echoed in my head. Patience, observation, precision. I repeated it like a mantra. Patience, observation, precision. I've got this. One evening, I intercepted a casual conversation between Lucas and another colleague. Lucas laughed, bragging about a new client. I raised an eyebrow, walked over. "Funny. I heard the client wasn't that impressed with your last pitch." Lucas stammered. What do you mean?" "Just making conversation," I said, shrugging, smiling innocently. "You know how rumors spread? Misunderstandings can be costly if left unchecked." He scowled but visibly tensed. Every move he made after that was hesitant, careful. Cracks I anticipated were forming. I saw Emma notice it too. Her messages to Lucas became terse, worried. I didn't reply, didn't reveal anything. I let her panic simmer. Daniel called again. "You're playing chess, not checkers," he said. "Just don't lose yourself." "I'm not losing myself," I said. "I'm finding myself in a way I never could before. The anger, the betrayal. It's fuel, Daniel. To reclaim my life, my dignity, my power." That night I looked at her public profiles, photos, interviews, achievements. She looked untouchable, confident, happy, but subtle signs betrayed her. Tension in her posture, forced smiles, overcompensation. I whispered, "You think you're safe? You're not. Not for long." Evelyn's earlier advice ran through my mind. Influence subtly, observe constantly, strike precisely. I smiled faintly. I'm ready. Every move, every whisper. Everything leads to the moment I decide, and soon it will be her life unraveling. Daniel sat across from me, shaking his head. "I can't believe how far you've come. It's impressive. Damned. But remember, the closer you get to the edge, the easier it is to fall." "Right. I know," I said, leaning back. "But I've never felt more alive, more focused. Every step calculated. Every person I interact with, I learn, I plant, I wait, and it's working. Slowly, invisibly, perfectly." I thought about Emma again, smiling in her social media posts, blind to the storm. Building around her. "Enjoy your little victories while you can," I whispered, "because the game has just begun. And soon, everything you've built will start to crumble." I leaned back in my chair, feeling a strange satisfaction. It wasn't cruelty. It wasn't obsession. It was justice. My justice. Inevitable. Inevitable. I was. No longer the broken man who watched, helpless. I was the one who moved unseen, controlled the pieces, and observed the board. And the first tangible cracks were forming in Emma's carefully curated world. The game had begun. Asterisk. CHP4, I walked into the office, calm, collected. Emma looked up from her desk, her smile faltering when our eyes met. "You. Right. What are you doing here?" she stammered. "I came to talk," I said evenly. "Or maybe to remind you of a few truths you've been ignoring." Her fingers trembled slightly as she reached for her phone. "Daniel, I don't understand. Why are you here? What are you doing?" "I'm here to show you what happens when someone underestimates you," I said, stepping closer. "Your little empire, your reputation. It's all built on lies and carelessness. She blinked, trying to mask panic. Lies? Carelessness? I work hard. And yet, you left cracks everywhere, I interrupted. Emails mishandled, clients misled, Lucas failing under pressure because of your arrogance. Everyone you trusted, everyone who supported you, doubting now, slowly, invisibly, in you. You never saw it coming? Emma's voice shook. I don't understand. How is any of this happening? You were too busy thinking you were untouchable, I said coldly. Too busy thinking I'd stay broken, thinking Lucas and you were safe from consequences. You forgot one thing. What? She whispered, desperation creeping into her tone. I watched. I waited. I learned. And I acted when it mattered. I said, voice steady, unwavering. Every mistake, every oversight. I turned into my advantage. Her eyes filled with tears. You're insane. No, I said softly. I'm focused, I'm patient, I'm alive. Lucas appeared at the doorway, his face pale. Wait, what's going on? She's losing clients. Our contracts, I turned to him, calm as a predator. Exactly. You thought you could manipulate, cheat, and support her betrayal. And now, your incompetence is exposed. Everyone knows your weakness. Every move you made, every word you lied about. It's unraveling. And it starts with you, Lucas stumbled. Back. Don't interrupt, I said. You're weak, eh? She relied on you to maintain her control, and you failed. Simple as that. And now, you're both paying the price. Emma sobbed, her perfect facade gone. I didn't mean you didn't mean. I echoed, stepping closer. You never loved me the way I loved you. You never valued loyalty, trust, or integrity. And now, I paused, letting the words sink in. You are watching your life collapse, powerless to stop it. Her hands shook as she gripped the edge of her desk. Please. I can fix this. Just give me a chance. No chance, I said firmly. You've already used up every opportunity. You chose betrayal. You chose arrogance. And now, I let the silence hang, heavy and deliberate. You face the consequences of your own actions. Daniel appeared behind me, silent support. Evelyn's voice echoed in my mind, precision, observation, patience. I smiled faintly, taking strength from her guidance. Emma's face twisted in fear. You're not. You can't do this. I already have, I said, eyes locked on hers. Every step, every whisper, every subtle move. It led here. You were blind. You didn't see it coming. Lucas didn't see it coming. Now, your empire, what you thought was untouchable, is crumbling. Lucas lowered his head. I failed her. You failed yourself, I corrected. And that's worse. Arrogance makes people blind. Weakness makes them fall. Emma's voice was barely audible. I regret it. I never should have. Regret is useless now, I said softly. It doesn't rebuild trust. Doesn't restore respect. And it certainly doesn't undo betrayal. Tears streamed down her face. I'm sorry. Please, just tell me what to do. I shook my head, my tone almost gentle. There's nothing left for you. You burned the bridges. You destroyed what mattered. You underestimated me. You paid the price. I turned to Daniel. Check. The clients, make sure the records show the errors clearly. No mistakes. Make it undeniable. Daniel nodded, silently confirming. Evelyn's earlier lessons had guided every move. Strategic, calculated, controlled. Every action precise. Emma collapsed into her chair, sobbing uncontrollably. Lucas slumped against the wall, silent, defeated. The power I had felt building over months now surged through me quiet. Steady, complete. I exhaled slowly, letting it sink in. This isn't cruelty, it's balance. Justice. Not by chance, but by design. Daniel placed a hand on my shoulder. Da-da-da-da-da. But are you okay? I looked at him, a faint smile on my lips. I am, because I learned something far more important than revenge. I learned that trust is precious, loyalty is rare, and strength, true strength, comes from standing up after being broken, not from taking pleasure in someone else's fall. Evelyn's voice whispered in my mind again. Observe, learn, grow. I felt it all make sense now. Pain had been fuel. Betrayal had been my teacher. I glanced at Emma one last time. Goodbye, I said quietly. May you remember this lesson. The office felt strangely calm after the storm. The chaos was over. My heart still ached from the past, but I had reclaimed my life. Rebirth was complete, not just in action, but in spirit. I had survived betrayal, mastered patience, found strength in my own power, and as I walked out of the building, leaving them to face the consequences of their choices, I knew this. I had taken nothing out of malice. I had taken everything. Because I had earned it in doing so, I had finally taken myself back. The life I lost had forged the man I became. And that man would never be